Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Sherry and today is Wacky Wednesday. But before I tell you what we're making today, let me say, if this is your first time here, you love food, you love fun, you love wacky recipes, go ahead, hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell and check the description below for details on, oh shit. Okay, let's try this again. Just don't forget to check the description below to find out how subscribing helps to feed the hungry. So today we're going to be making a hula pie, which I thought was very interesting. I found this on a blog a couple of days ago, and I thought a hula pie sounds a little wacky. And then I looked at the ingredients and I said, yes, that sounds really good. We're going to make that. And I thought it was interesting. They said if you'd spent any time in Hawaii, you'd probably seen this. So I don't know if we were in the same part. I think she was in Maui and I was in Waikiki. I was in Waikiki for 10 days, and I ate at a lot of restaurants. I never saw this, and I wish I had because it sounds absolutely delicious. So this came from Crazy for Crust. It is a baking blog, and her name is Dorothy Kern. She has a lot of great things on there, so you should check her out. Now, my recipe is going to be a little bit different than hers, as I thought if this is a Hawaiian thing, it needs some coconut in there. So I decided to add some coconut, and the crust that it uses is an Oreo crust. So we're going to make our own crust, and lo and behold, I went to Walmart, and they had caramel coconut Oreos. So this is what we are going to use to make our pie. So we need 25 Oreos. Now, as you can see, there's a little more than 25 Oreos in here. So I had a hard time making sure that 25 Oreos stayed in this package. So when you make a crust with Oreos, you do not need to take out the filling. We're going to leave the filling right in there. And who remembers how big the Oreo package used to be? What does this say? This says family size. This is smaller than the original size used to be, if you ask me. I don't know. I'd have to go back and see what the original ounces was. I'll have to Google that someday. I think everything is smaller nowadays. All right, so 25 Oreos in the food processor. We're going to replace our lid here and give this a whirl. All right, so we want our crumbs to be pretty fine. So if you don't have a food processor or you don't feel like dragging it out, you can always put it in a big Ziploc. Leave a little bit, leave about an inch opening at the top of there so the air can escape, and then just use a rolling pin and pound it out. You will have to put a little bit of muscles in there though to get it really fine. So I just want to check and make sure we don't have any big lumps down in here, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of melted butter, and then I'm going to replace the lid and give it a whirl again. All right, that looks pretty darn good. So we're going to take this off of here. I'm going to push this aside, and we're going to pour, oh my gosh, that smells so good. Butter and cookies. I think you can probably also buy an Oreo crust now that's already pre-made. I don't know, I'm not sure. And this might be a little much. I'm not sure if this is the same size pie pan that Dorothy used, so we'll see. I'm just going to use, this is not working. Let's just try our hands. I thought that might work better, but it didn't. So we're going to start in the center and work our way outwards. And I would say yes, I probably have too much, so we'll take a chunk of that out and we'll save that for something else. I'll probably just throw that in the freezer, and then the next time, you know, somebody wants to eat ice cream, they can just use that as a topping. Or put it in a blender with some ice cream and make a blizzard out of it. All right, I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. And I'll tell you what, it smells good, but it looks kind of like tar. Looks like I've made a mess too. So the next thing we want to do is freeze this so it gets a little bit firm before we put our filling in here. So off to the freezer for about 30 minutes. It's been almost 30 minutes, so our crust should be almost done. And at this point, I'm going to take a quart, or what was a quart and a half. There's a scoop. There's a scoop missing out of here. I wonder who ate that. Quart and a half of ice cream. So we don't want it completely melted, but we want it softened enough that we can stir in about 3/4 of a cup of chopped macadamia nuts. I'm going to save a little bit for the top. And then also a cup of shredded coconut. So this is the other difference between what I'm making and the original recipe. It didn't call for coconut, so I'm adding coconut to this. We just want to mix this up really well. And then once we've got our nuts and our coconut mixed in, I'm going to grab our pie crust. And we're just going to pour this into our pie crust. And then we're just going to smooth it out. And now that we've got that all smoothed out, we're going to put this back in the fridge for another 30 minutes. All right, our pie is pretty much frozen, so now it is time to add our toppings. So we're going to add some hot fudge. And we're just going to spread this out. Uh-oh, apparently we have to do this fast. It's starting to melt my ice cream. Scoot it over to the edges as quick as we can. And it really doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to add some nuts to this, and then we're also going to put some whipped cream around the edges. All right, I think that's pretty good. I'm afraid if I mess with it anymore, I will have it all messed up. So we're just going to add a few more of our macadamia nuts on top. I'm definitely going to try to cover up my spots where the vanilla is poking through. All right, I think that looks good. So we're going to put this back in the freezer for another 4 hours or overnight. All right, I think our pie is finally ready after all that freezing. So, uh-oh, why don't make a mess? Maybe I should have buttered my knife first. I'm not sure. Well, there we go. That's not too bad. Just get a little sliver here. And we're going to put some whipped cream on here, but I'm just going to put it on one slice because I'm using the canned whipped cream, and if you've ever tried to put that on a whole pie. I did that when I was younger. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade. I was in home ec class, and I got to bake a pie for Thanksgiving, a pumpkin pie, and bring it home, and I was so excited. And so I decorated it with a can of whipped cream, and I got on the bus with it, and it melted everywhere. It was horrible. And I forgot to get my little pie server, which is so darn cute, too, because it is a high heel. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this out of here. This thing's like frozen on here. I think you should probably let it sit out a little bit before you try to cut it. That's my guess. We definitely got to get some of that cookie crust, though. Let's see if I can lift it up with my knife. Yeah, it is frozen. So I would let this thaw for about 10 or 15 minutes before you cut into it. Again, this is the first time I've made this. But I do know what these cookies taste like. And I know I want them on this plate. So before I photograph it, though, I will probably go around the edge and just put some whipped cream. All right, let's try it. Let's see what it tastes like. I don't know if it tastes like Hawaii or heaven. Oh, it's good. Glad I put the coconut in there, too. And I'm glad I used that cookie for the crust. I really like the coconut flavor added in there. That's absolutely delicious. I'm surprised I've never heard of that. And I'm betting a lot of you have not either. So give this a try. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I thank you so much for watching. Bye.